Hi everybody, welcome to Caketastic Cakes. It's Jen and I'm going to show you how to make Bluey from, well, Bluey out of gum paste. Now just like always, if you guys have any supplies or tools you need, take a look in the description below. I have a whole bunch of links set up that should be able to help you out. Okay, to make our little Bluey dog, here we go. I am starting with kind of a gray blue color. I think it was called periwinkle, honestly. And I shaped it into a popsicle. That's really what it looks like. Just a big old fudgicle before you break it in half, you know? So I ran my popsicle onto the stick, thus confirming the popsicle look that I'm going for here. Square off the top a little bit, but try to keep the edges rounded. We're not going Minecraft square here. We're just doing Bluey square. So, you know, nice round soft edges. Now I'm taking some of the blue. I made it darker. I added some purple to it and some navy blue. And we're going to do the stripes on her back, the spots, I guess they are. I just rolled it out really, really thin, kind of rounded off the two edges, and made it long enough that I could wrap it around and it will go onto either side of her. I probably honestly made her a little bit too skinny, like too much like a popsicle. Maybe it should be more like, she should be shaped more like a square plug, I guess, or a rectangular plug, maybe a little thicker. But from, you know, my intents and purposes, I didn't think it was too bad. I'm adding her second layer right here. Same thing, just a little bit skinnier of a stripe. And I've not watched the show, so if she has spots instead of stripes, just make spots. Use your circle cutter instead of stripes. I did the best I could with the pictures I was looking at. And I only know a little bit about it. I've never actually watched it because my boys are just too big for cute stuff anymore. This is going to go on top of her head. And I am just rolling out a big piece, same color, darker color. And I made two circles out of it. I discovered later on that she actually has a solid patch on her head with her ears, that it doesn't have two spots, but my version is two spots. So this is what I'm going to show you. All right, I made two circles. I wrapped one on either side of the head, and it worked out perfectly, I gotta say, even though it's technically not as correct as it could be. Because it just wrapped around the eyes and brings that like light blue color showing in between on the middle of her forehead and everything. Just like the little blue healer that she is. And it worked pretty darn well, you see. Just level it off and there you go. I'm making her ears now. I just rolled out the same color that we're still working with. I made it a lot thicker than the stripes and the spots and just cut out a couple triangles. I made sure that they're a pretty good tall size, not too short. She has pretty perky ears. And I'm using some gold and filling in the centers of it. So that's all I did. Yeah, just put your smaller triangles on the inside, nice and flat. I used a little bit of water to connect everything. And a little bit of water on the ears, and I stuck them toward the back of her head. Made sure that the edges of her ears kind of match up with the edge of her head spots there, you see, so they don't overlap. And they kind of stick out a little bit to the sides like this, just from the curve of her head, so I'm bending them upward more because her ears go up straight off her head. They don't flare out to the sides at all. So once you get that, there you go. Okay, now we got our Bluey's little body and head coming along. This is going to be her tummy spot. It is the same color blue that I used for her body. I just added a whole bunch of white to it to make it lighter. I stuck it on there. I kind of pulled and stretched it a little bit to make it more squared off, as you see, and shape it with your knife, but you'll get there. Just pull gently, you know, and tap with your knife and you'll shape it off. It doesn't go very far up her body, so keep that in mind. Her face takes up most of her body. She's a little disproportionate, but she's cute, so it's okay. I am going to make her little legs now. I'm just using the same body color blue. Rolled out that long piece as you saw, cut off the two ends, flatten the one end, just so it'll have a nice base to sit on when you tuck it under her body. And there you go. Legs. Boom. How easy is that, right? This is going to be her little tail. Her tail is the same color blue, but it's got that darker blue patch on the bottom, so I kind of put some water on, roll them together, and I'm using my knife blade to make two impressions because she's got kind of like fur lumps or divots. I cut a wedge off there because otherwise I'm not going to see her tail from the front. If she's sitting and I'm looking at her, I wanted to see her tail. So I cut off a side wedge so it'll go against the side of her body and stick out a little bit like you can see. This light blue, same color as her tummy patch, is going to be her paws. I just made a ball, flattened one end a little bit just so it'll match up with the foot. Put the 2 imprints with my knife blade to make toes, and then stuck it on. So it's more like you're shaping little booties because it's not just her paws that have the light color, it does go up her leg and, you know, her arms a little bit as well. So like I said, you roll it off a little bit, kind of pinch it off to make a nice flat edge to connect to the leg. Put your impressions in with your knife for the toes. Add your water, stick it on there. And I'm just kind of pinching off a little bit, pressing just to make sure the ankles stick out. These are going to be her arms. I'm going to have her sitting kind of like she's relaxing with her arms down on the ground, supporting her weight. So I've got the same kind of thing with the legs, just the long thin piece rolled out, cut the wedges off. Those will go into the shoulder. Flat on the other end that we'll attach the arm to. And for the arms, I made a ball that I pressed, as you can see, one side of it. Make toe prints on the other side, and then there, see how it goes together? It's just gonna be like, it's just gonna be as if her paw was kind of sitting out to the side. You may have to trim off a little bit and readjust it, but once you get the sizing and everything, then just use your water, press it up against her body, and there you go. So once again, here's the other arm. It's just, or hand, excuse me, paw. It's just a ball. Press down on the one side, get some water in there, fold it up if it's a little too long. Get your toe marks into the end, the fat end, add your bit of water, stick it in place, and there you go. You got 2 arms. All right, now I'm going to show you how I made her muzzle. This was kind of complicated, so if you guys can think of a better way to do this, I would love to hear it. I started with the gold color, that's the inside of her ears, and I made kind of a triangle out of it, like a long triangular box, like, what are those candies, Toblerones or something like that? Anyway, and I pressed around the edges to make it flare out and flat. So then I'm using a piece of dried spaghetti, and I'm dropping the nose because it stuck to my hand with the water, and kind of pressing it on it. Now, because it's flat in the front and kind of triangular with, you know, see where I'm pressing with the tool there? It will kind of give her the muzzle. It'll have her muzzle that comes out as well as a little bit of the mouth area underneath. And yeah, so it's kind of awkward, but we're going to work with it. We're going to see where we go from here. Okay, so once you get it pressed into place, there's going to be a little jump as you see here because I didn't realize I didn't record the part, but I just cut out a really skinny rectangle and laid it over the top of her muzzle to get that dark blue that comes out over her snoot a little bit. And then I'm taking some of the light blue, rolled it really, really thin, cut a really skinny strip, and I'm trying to outline the rest of her muzzle. So I'm going around the top of her nose and then down the sides a little bit. Just kind of following the yellow around. As you see, it goes underneath, and then trim off the extra. And yeah, that's what I did. So that's where I was saying, if you guys have a better way of getting those colors onto her muzzle, let me know. I would be interested in it. All right, these big 2 flattened beans that I made here, cut the wedges out with a circle. Going to be her eyes. Like I said, they were just 2 ovals. I flattened them out, used my circle cutter to cut out 2 little shapes so that they'll go up against her muzzle because she has enormous eyes. And yeah, put them into place. I'm using the same light color blue as her belly to make a couple little beans, little tic-tac shapes for her eyebrows, just setting them right above there. She has pretty thick eyebrows, so don't be skimpy with her. I took little pieces of black, as you see, I'm kind of working with it there, and flatten it out long and thin in order to make her eyes, to finish off her eyes. She doesn't have any colored irises or anything like that, so just the long black pupils is all you need, nice and centered, okay? Last but not least, we're going to add her nose. I cut out a rectangle of black, and it wasn't very rectangular, so I shaped it with my hands a little bit. Stick it on the end of her snoot. Just make sure her nose is as wide as her muzzle that you make her. Because it's pretty wide. Okay, she doesn't have a little nose. No little tiny nose. I used my edible marker to make a cute little smile there on the side of her mouth. And she's done. There's Bluey from Bluey. Okay, so hopefully you found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe because it's helpful to me. See, we help each other. We're good like that. Check out my other videos. And as always, guys, thank you for watching Caketastic Cakes.